What's going on, Raider Nation? Let's break down the NFL Draft one more time. There's some good, some bad, some ups and downs, but let me just break down the draft. So going before the draft, before we even take a player, there was speculation that we were trying to trade up to the 33rd pick overall to get Colin Kaepernick, trading with the Patriots and trading up. All that rumor and speculation, I did not want that to happen. I think for those of you who saw my pre-draft video, guys, things I did not want was a quarterback in the second round. I did not want that, and I'm very thankful that we did not trade up or the Patriots rejected our bid. They were asking too much, whatever. I'm thankful that didn't happen. I know people, 49er fans on here, probably want to rub it in saying Colin Kaepernick was taken from the Raiders, but I'm happy that he is not a Raider, and I was not interested in the guy in the first place. So with the second round pick of the Raiders NFL Draft and the first pick overall for the Raiders, Willie Brown announces that Stefen Wisniewski is taken by the Raiders with our second round pick. And this is exactly who I wanted to be taken in the second round. A lot of people may have said he's a third round talent, but there was a lot of other mocks that had this guy as a second round talent. There wasn't really a whole lot of wiggle room to trade down. I mean, he could have been taken earlier or later. So it's good to know that this guy fell down to us. The nephew of the old Steve Wisniewski. Of course, he was number 76. One of the best linemen in my lifetime as a Raider fan. I know he'll never be close to Jim Otto, but since I've been a Raider fan, I remember him and Lincoln Kennedy and Barrett Robbins up front, the good old days. So the nephew, Stefen Wisniewski, goes second round, and I think he can make that instant impact in the center spot. Samson Sattelli, I don't expect to be resigned. He could play a guard as well, so that'll take away Robert Gallery's spot on the roster because he's not returning. So good pick by the Raiders. Very acceptable. I wouldn't call it a home run, but it's a pick that I'm willing to live with because it's one of the three guys I wanted. Those of you who saw my little pre-draft video, those were one of the three guys was Wisniewski. So I got exactly what I want. I'm very happy for it. So with the 17th pick of the third round in the NFL Draft, the Raiders selected DeMarcus Van Dyke, a Miami Hurricane. For those of you who don't watch Miami Hurricanes football, those guys are all speedsters. That's a program that is obsessed with getting the athletes who have the speed. No one can match Miami and Florida State's speed abilities. Whether it's the receiver, their fourth string running back, they all have speed. So I'm surprised we haven't taken more Miami guys over the years. But we took DeMarcus Van Dyke. Definitely I consider it a reach. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, I expected him to be taken by the Raiders. If you saw the athletes list below that I had, he was one of the guys that was listed that athletes Al Davis would like. The guy obviously has the true speedster ability. Now, can he play football? That's the question. Well, Al Davis has faith in his coaching staff to do that. It's a questionable pick, no doubt, but also some people consider him to be underrated. So there's mixed reviews, and I get that, but I have faith in this pick. We had to draft a corner anyway. I already said before, we had to stock up on offensive linemen and cornerbacks as the two positions of real need. So those two positions were out of the way right off the bat after the first two picks of the Raiders. Now, also in the third round, the Raiders traded up. They traded their second round of next year and their seventh round of this year for the Patriots' third and fourth picks this year. This is a trade I'm fine with because, one, that pick will give the Raiders motivation to keep winning. I think, especially the fact that they need to win, is that pick thing is a motivational factor. Of course, last year we traded away Richard Seymour came to us for a first-round pick. And the Raiders were able to win to prevent the Patriots from getting top 10 picks. Who, by the way, they drafted Nate Solder. I think that was a reach. So, anyways, I'm not too worried about that. We do historically draft better in the fourth round anyways. So, nice to acquire 2 fourth-round picks. But with the third-round pick, we drafted Joseph Barksdale. This is another athlete, another freak athlete. No, he doesn't have speed. No, offensive linemen do not have speed necessarily. But he definitely has the size and the strength that Al Davis likes. He wanted a guy that fits his system. And if this guy's strength is pass protection, It's exactly what we need. And once again, the Raiders drafted for need. People might consider this a reach as well, but I beg to differ. Really don't know what to say. Overall, this was a really weak draft class, so there's lots of ups and downs. You don't know who's good and who's not good, so when there's a weak draft class, just anything can happen and hop all over the board. So I am perfectly fine with this pick because it showed that we addressed our need of the offensive line. So another okay pick by the Raiders there. Now also in the fourth round, later in the fourth round, with our own pick, we used it on Chimdi Chekwa. Sorry if my pronunciation is off or not. I haven't read the guy deep enough, but he's from Ohio State. This is a guy, another athlete for sure. He was projected to be a mid-rounder, and we're right in the middle of the fourth round, so he went right where he was expected to be. I'm perfectly fine with this pick because a lot of people considered him to be underrated. So I'm fine with Chimdi Chekwa being the corner for us. Once again, you got to stock on defensive backs. That's a position Al Davis loves. He says you can never have enough of that, and wide receivers. So Chimdi Chekwa goes into the fourth round to the Raiders, and also later in the fourth round because of the pick we acquired from the Patriots, we used it on a guy named Taiwan Jones. This is an attractive pick. Why? Because we don't have the speed running back. Darren McFadden is an all-purpose back. Michael Bush is a power back. Now you got the speed back in Taiwan Jones, and that's going to be interesting if this guy is able to break free like crazy. I know McFadden's got his speed, don't get me wrong, but we don't have your speed back, kind of like how I know C.J. Spiller probably is for Buffalo. But hey, this is the fourth round. People had Taiwan Jones coming in the second or third round, really moving up draft boards, but we got him in the fourth round, and I'm perfectly fine with that because it adds depth. So in case Michael Bush or Darren McFadden is hurt, we'll use Taiwan Jones, another pick for depth, just like we had for the offensive line earlier. So this is the real sleeper pick by the Raiders. I'm really liking this Taiwan Jones guy out of Eastern Washington in Division II. In the fifth round, the Raiders took a guy named Denarius Moore out of Tennessee. This guy was one of the leading receivers for the Tennessee Volunteers. I know they kind of had some iffy quarterback situation to start in Tennessee. They had Sims out there, and then later Tyler Bray, as we all know, was the quarterback for Tennessee. So his stats were very good, though, considering the quarterback situation out in Knoxville. So one of the leading receivers, another speedster. I mean, you can never have enough speed, as by Al Davis's theory. He was also projected to be a mid-rounder, and we took him in the fifth round. So nothing to lose there. It's a crapshoot. Once you're after the third round, all the picks that come out here and there, it's a crapshoot. And once again, it adds depth to our wide receiver situation. Some guy like Jonathan Holland or Todd Watkins, well, he's not even on the team anymore, but some guy like him should be cut, and he should take the place of Denarius Moore. So maybe it'll promote some competition amongst the rest of the wide receivers to really just garner a lot of speed and what we have right now in case of injury. So for the sake of Chaz Jones' injury, I'm fine with Denarius Moore being picked. Nothing wrong with that. I expected a wide receiver to be taken, as said before. Now in the sixth round, we drafted a guy named Richard Gordon out of Miami. You look at his stats, and yeah, they don't look so good. This guy, I'm going to assume, is a blocking tight end, just like Brandon Myers was a blocking tight end for us when we drafted him in the sixth round. So Richard Gordon, not a lot of flair. I mean, I talked to some Hurricanes fans before, said he's not that good or not worth taking, but we took him in the sixth round because it's another crapshoot. We did need a tight end for depth purposes because Zach Miller is a free agent, and Brandon Myers is the only guy under contract at that position. So for the sake of having a blocking tight end, just going to assume Richard Gordon will play the role of blocking tight end. So not a whole lot to thrills to this pick, but at least we picked up a tight end just to fill our need of a blocking tight end. And lastly, we got a guy named David Ausberry out of USC. This is a guy I don't even know. I mean, I'm a UCLA fan, don't get me wrong, but I barely know this guy because he didn't do much for USC. I'm assuming he was near the back of the depth chart. You look at his stats in college, and there wasn't a lot of flair. Matt Barkley didn't be thrown to him very often. But for those of you who are USC fans who watch this, you might need to inform me on this pick because It says he's a wide receiver and he's listed as that, but I'm just going to assume this is for depth purposes because we have nothing to lose. Maybe he could convert into something else for all we know, but these 7th round compensatory picks near the end, it's just kind of hit and miss. You don't know what to think, but he was projected as an undrafted guy, and we drafted him in the very, very late 7th round pick. So David Ausberry, I don't even know if he'll make the team. It just doesn't seem like a big deal. Now, looking at the draft as a whole and what the Raiders did, they addressed their depth needs. This was a draft getting depth. We don't even know if there's going to be a season next year, which would suck if there isn't. But the depth situation for us, we were thin at a few positions. You know, the offensive line, every Raider fan out there knows that's been our biggest problem the past year. The offensive line was addressed early. Got Stefen Wisniewski, and you got Joseph Barksdale to address that. And then you also address the corner position. I expected us to stock up on some corners. We did get Chimdi Chekwa, as well as getting DeMarcus Van Dyke. 2 guys that should not necessarily step in right now, but it should promote competition amongst Jeremy Ware, amongst Stanford Routt, amongst Chris Johnson, amongst Walter McFadden. All those guys should be fighting for the corner spots, and it's kind of may the best one win. I don't think we should play man on every down like we used to, though. We're going to have to switch it up because it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to have to prepare for life without Nnamdi Asomugha. These 2 picks were obviously in preparation for Nnamdi Asomugha's going to go. Now, I know it feels sad that one of the best corners in the game today might be gone, and I'm pretty much bracing for it. Don't be shocked if that happens with what we drafted. You know, this is the catch, and this is for all the NFL fans who are looking forward to getting Nnamdi Asomugha. The catch of having him is that he's so good. The other side gets thrown to so often, so assuming you have a guy that can play man on the other side who's just as good, he might get burned, he might get exposed, but if you guys can play zone here and there at times, you're probably good. Just if you're playing man and you think you can play man with your other corner, just watch out because he's going to get thrown to left and right, whoever the opposite side is. So whether it's Asante Samuel, who's I know a Pro Bowler for the Eagles, he's supposed to be good. I just don't know if he would do it and play well in man defense. So beware, NFL fans who want Nnamdi Asomugha. That is the biggest catch into having a guy like him. The Raiders need a balanced cornerback tandem, and they're stocking up on guys just to promote competition, and I'm fine with that. You know, some of these late rounds we got, these late round picks, it's all for depth. The wide receiver depth was thin, and even the tight end depth was thin, so not really worried there. The only thing I probably would have done was taken a quarterback, probably in the 5th or 6th round. I might have drafted a guy like Greg McElroy in the 5th round instead of taking Denarius Moore, but it's whatever right now. Al Davis has faith in Jason Campbell, and that's why I didn't expect the 2nd round pick to be a quarterback, or I didn't want it to be a quarterback. So I got exactly what I wanted, stocking up the offensive linemen and corners. But this fall, it's just kind of a uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen with this lockout drama and guys not being signed, but at least I don't have to worry about holdouts from any of these guys because none of them were drafted in the 1st round. So don't have to worry about holdouts. It'll be interesting. The Raiders have the depth they need. I think they just need to sign one journeyman QB with just for depth reasons. But Al Davis has faith in Jason Campbell to deliver this year, and he didn't draft a quarterback in the same process. So I'm expecting a lot of things from this Raider team. The offensive line is going to need to get better. The secondary will be tested big time. But up front, I like what I'm seeing. I know you might say we passed on Daquan Bowers, but we have a good defensive line already. There were definitely other needs to address, and Daquan Bowers probably would not be a starter because of what we have with Lamar Houston and Matt Shaughnessy on the sides. So let me know, Raider Nation and NFL fans, what do you think? I can't say this was a home run draft, but it was satisfying that we picked up guys we needed, at least the depth position-wise we needed. So B-, C+ is where I have our draft grade range. But I'm perfectly fine with what we got because we picked a bunch of positions in need to start, and those were the positions I wanted. So let me know what you think, guys. Good, bad, horrible, home run. Let me know what you guys think, Raider Nation, and we'll see you guys later. I don't know if I'll be making much of a video this summer. Probably maybe once there's not, but if there's no season, it would really suck. Let's just say that right now. There will be a flurry of videos, another video probably tomorrow on some other things. But the Raiders, we'll see you in the summer for sure. I'll probably make one Raider video in the summer, Raiders related. So we'll see you then. And a little word of advice is if the lockout continues or it's back on, don't buy anything NFL related. Whether you drafted Cam Newton for the Panthers, don't buy any of it as a sign of protest. That's just advice to any NFL fans. Until then, we'll see you guys later, and as always, go Raiders.